While we're having breakfast.
Okay.
So you were saying that EMS what?
In Pickens County, we've been carfentanil is popping up. So
Is it mixed? Like, is it mixed with heroin?
Yeah.
Like heroin and.
So they've increased they've doubled the amount of Narcan that we keep on the truck.
Oh wow.
And it's not really for patients. That's more for the EMT and the medic on the ambulance.
Oh, in case you guys get in contact
Right.
with it.
But the problem is that our standing orders for the county says that EMTs can't give Narcan.
So you've got a tool, but you can't use it.
Yeah, pretty much. They're working to change that right now, but supposedly, but
Here, Pat DeLeo. Here's a new fancy gun. You can't use it. Like doesn't make any.
Yeah, what happens to
There's a tool.
Here's your new form to fill out every time you go to this type of call.
that's pretty common in government.
Can't file it yet.
stuff. Yeah.
You have to use a new system now on the computer. Okay, how do I log on? We're not giving you the log on information yet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very common, yeah.
So go back to you got the. What were we talking about, the memo?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I went to a drug symposium last fall in Indiana, mainly focused on the narcotics, so heroin, Lord tabs, all the good stuff, and they talked about. I heard stories of law enforcement making a bust or arresting someone, whatever, and they find an object or a baggie or whatever, and maybe open it up and get a little bit on their skin, and you'd be revived because it's like an elephant tranquilizer mixed in with heroin, or it kind of puffs up in the air and they breathe it a little bit and have to be revived, and it's really hard to revive someone. It takes a lot of Narcan.
It's crazy shit, man.
Yeah. That you mentioned. Let's see. Can you talk about the dude that left a note? Can you?
Yeah. So in one of the towns next to mine, apparently this dude OD'd on heroin. He wasn't sure if it was carfentanil or not. So he wrote a note, and I guess he was kind of mad at his dealer or whatever. He wrote a note and put it in his pocket and said that if I've OD'd, this is, and he gave his dealer's name.
I had that same story, from my town.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So I don't know if people are doing that now, or if that's an urban legend that's been spreading.
It's not an urban legend because at our IST meeting, our in-service training meeting, one of the guys who ran the calls was talking about it.
Yeah. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're aware of the risk,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
which is another reason I don't fucking feel bad.
Yeah.
So in your case, in your town, someone like wrote a note saying, "Oh, this is my dealer.
Mhm.
If IOD or whatever."
Mhm.
Wow. I haven't heard any stories of that in Kentucky, Indiana area, but that's wild.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But apparently that's like the ultimate high. The high right before you die. So I guess they're just trying to push that edge, push that edge, push that edge.
Yeah.
It's a high that never stops.
Yep.
Well, we kind of maybe touched on it a little bit last night, or in episode 3, I suppose. But people with a pretty strong history of stimulants or the narcotics.
Did you say last night? Did you say last night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the episode 3. I think it was episode 3. I don't know.
Yep.
Episode I was knocked the fuck out.
You know, with the history of that, so many changes take place in the body at the cellular level, the nervous system, neurotransmitters, receptors. All these changes take place when someone uses over an extended period. That there's an imbalance that needs to be addressed, you know, in neurotransmitters and the biology of a person. That I think it's beyond. One of the stigmas I hear is, especially when I did my emergency medicine rotation, is just stop doing it, just make a choice. Well, you know, someone that's been doing it for so long, like all these changes have taken place in the body that those things need to be addressed too. Those chemical imbalances. It's just a little beyond. Oh, just stop taking it.
I don't know.
No.
I'm happy to let people be adults. I'm not happy to
Yeah.
pay for it.
That is very true.
So while chemical changes may happen in your body, that's great. I
And
hope
they-
you get the best care that you can reasonably get.
And they can be addressed with medications. What we talked about, the biology. We can address the biology. We can address the behavior, the psycho, from the biopsychosocial, and we can address the social. I mean, all that can be addressed. What happens in your city, county, whatever, when are you able to point people to resources? You know, do people reach out and say, "Hey, can I get help? Do you guys have any resources?"
No one has ever
Is there any
asked me for help.
procedure?
No one's ever asked me for help.
I
When you
remember.
wake them up on scene with Narcan, I don't know about your guys, but they are usually wide awake
Oh yeah, they're not
and
having.
they're pissed.
Yeah,
And
because
they're fine. They don't need
that's
to
up
go to
there
the
high.
hospital. I'm fine. I don't need to go to the hospital.
Okay, when I did my emergency medicine rotation, when someone was revived with Narcan, at that time I was a student, so I would go over, hey, what brings you in? Invariably, every patient that I saw in that situation, first words out of their mouth, "I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to get out of here." It's like I saw gobs and gobs and gobs. Southern Indiana, Northern Kentucky. And like I said, invariably, I'm ready to get out of here.
That overdose that I was running when y'all were coming into town, gave her 4 vials of Narcan before she even started moaning. Like, it didn't wake her up. She was just like, 4.
Wow. And they found it wasn't just the narcotic, it was also amphetamine, right?
Yeah,
Is there some-
barbiturates, amphetamines,
Was there THC?
Weed.
Wow.
and opioids.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing more and more lately. When I kind of first started out, it was maybe someone would use heroin, and then when they couldn't get their heroin, they would, the withdrawal from that, they didn't like that. So they would use methamphetamine until the next time they could get their heroin. So the meth was sort of the bridge to the next time they could get the pain med. And now I'm seeing people taking the amphetamine and the heroin, the methamphetamine and the heroin at the same time. Like, what?
I've seen a little bit of that, not
Really?
a lot. I know it happens quite a bit, but personally I've seen only a little bit of that where we go, they've got to be on freaking heroin right now. And we're like, no, it's not. It's similar, but it's not, and that's usually your double drug. All right,
Happiness.
smoke that breakfast.
That question again.
So how can we
Hate that.
how can we tie in you know, us talking about what we see in our roles, you know, whether it's mental health or law enforcement, first responder, how can we tie in that to liberty, to our discussions of liberty, of freedom, of choice, self-sufficiency, self-reliance, stuff we talk about?
I know at my job, I think it's a great segue to get people thinking about liberty, because on scene we go, "You dumb motherfucker," and we go, "We don't feel bad. This is the third time this week we've brought you back to life,
Mm-hmm.
and no, we're not getting Narcan. We don't want it." And then I can say to those guys, "Yeah, that sucks. We have to keep coming back to these same houses, doesn't it?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I just wish we can let him be an adult and get high if he wants to get high, and kill himself if he wants to kill himself." And they go, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah, everyone should pretty much be able to do adult consensual activities." And then they kind of go, "Well, yeah, that makes sense." You can kind of bring people through that idea of, do we have to enforce a law because it's a law, and what if there's no victim?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good segue for me.
And for us, it's, I don't know. I mean, this may sound like a horrible thing to say, but it's always a constant internal struggle with me for rescue and letting nature take its course.
Yeah.
You know, like we'll have to go hike 10 or 12 miles in to, and this is something we've actually had to do, to go get a diabetic in the middle of the woods who forgot his insulin.
How do you not go through a checklist? Well, I mean, I suppose it's possible, but like, if I know something is high stakes, high value, like I've got to have this, or I could croak. Like, how do you not have a checklist?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, okay, well, there's at least 10 hours out of my day that I've had to dedicate to this.
That's where you need to send in.
Irresponsible person.
Yeah, that's a lot of resources to that. That's where you send in your little insulin quadcopter, like, send it, fly it in.
Right.
I think they have a quad that can bring a defibrillator nowadays. I feel like I saw that somewhere.
I have one of those in my trunk, don't worry. I don't know how to use it, but I've been told to strap it on and press the button and do what I'm told.
Well, yeah, it'll walk you through.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Add that with your Narcan and your what else do we need to load you up with?
Narcan, neck brace.
Might as well stay at home. You guys don't need me anymore.
Got it.
Sort of a catch-all.
Shooting at the shooting range is dangerous, and
Yep.
rock climbing is dangerous. Hiking in rough trails is dangerous, but I don't see any law enforcement officers regulating that, coming after me, and yet. So doing drugs is dangerous. You should be able to do that as an adult consensual activity that's voluntary, and you know the risk, and you take the consequences that go with it.
If people would just think. I mean, I know people get overweight, you know. They could do lots of shit when they were 19 and now they're 35 and they can't.
Are you trying to say something, Chuck? I'm trying to say something?
No. I am speaking from experience.
Well,
You know, and then they decide, hey, I'm going to go hike the hardest trail in South Carolina. Because I used to do it all the time when I was 19. Well, now you're pushing 40 and you're 300 pounds heavier than you were when you were 19. And they get 3/4 of the way to the top, and then they decide to have a heart attack.
oh gosh. How do you?
And then I gotta go get them.
Yeah, about that.
Man, if that old guy yesterday had a heart attack up there, that would have been what you call serendipity.
Right.
Yeah, like the three of us. We went, where did we go? The highest point in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Highest elevation point?
Sassafras Mountain.
Yeah, beautiful location, by the way. Yeah, that would have been...
He gets to the top of the hill and he's like, "Oh God, is there a bench here? I need a break." We're like, "Well, if you roll over and die, you're in good hands."
Jack will save you.
That's funny.
Pretty cool. Any sort of final thoughts? How do we wrap that up? Sort of train.
Quote of the day today?
Yeah, quote of the day.
All consensual activities between adults should be voluntary.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that covers quite a bit of freedom that a lot of people don't necessarily think about.
Yeah, hold on this.
All, say that again.
You
So
don't want
all,
All activities between adults should be consensual and voluntary.
okay. Do we have any, maybe to really drive the point home, do we have any examples of what that's not, like, that doesn't describe, like what?
Yeah, it doesn't describe the state being a victim, or the citizens of a state being the victim.
Or the state getting involved between
Two
consenting adults.
two or more.
Yeah, whatever that might be.
I was told in the police academy you can't have a crime unless you have a victim.
Oh, really? You were told that?
But then I was told that if you arrest someone for drugs, the victim is the state. And they lost me there.
You were told that?
Yes. I was told you can't have a crime unless you have a victim. So when you fill out your police report, if you say, I'm arresting him for a crime, the next line has to be, the victim is XYZ.
Oh, wow.
And then they said if it's something like drugs, then you say the victim is the state. And
Really?
at that point I said, no, that's not going to fool me with that. That's
Wow.
close, but that's not it.
So even the guy with like a, I don't know, a small bag of weed or
Yeah.
something.
We don't
like,
give a shit.
The victim is the
None
state.
of the cops that I work with give a shit about that. None. Zero.
The small bag of weed
They
or
don't
whatever.
If the guy is a known criminal that does burglaries and steals from people
Mhm.
and hits people and carries a gun and threatens people with it, and we happen to catch him with only weed, we'll use it to arrest him. But we don't go, I'm gonna get that little kid with that little bag of weed. I'm gonna get him. We don't care.
You guys aren't thinking about that? Like, oh, I'm gonna get all these little teenagers with their bags of weed.
There's some of us that like to do that for their stats and their numbers.
Oh, really? You guys
Um,
track that?
But that's, of course we do, yeah.
Oh,
and I hate it. It kills me.
I don't know that.
I have the lowest arrest rate on my squad. It's going to stay that way. I don't do bullshit arrests. So
Walk me through that algorithm, that sort of formula you use when you, I don't know, make contact or whatever with someone, and you're going through.
So
like,
when I decide
do I
I'm
need to arrest
probably
this
going to have to
person?
arrest them, some of the things I think about are,
How many biscuits you want?
you throw one at me and we'll see how it goes. Thank you, sir. So one of the first questions I ask is, am I acting as a tax collector for the state? Thank you. So that's things like what we're talking about. You have a little bag of weed. Well, who's the victim? The state. Why is the state the victim? Because they didn't get their taxes, or because they're upset? The state of Florida is really upset. Really? Okay. So if I arrest you because the state of Florida is really sad, then I'm acting as a tax collector. No one has been stolen from, no one's been hit, no one's been hurt, no one's been coerced.
Mm-hmm.
Consenting adults have decided on a medium of exchange for a product that grows in the fucking woods naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a weed.
Literally a plant.
It is a
Yeah.
dynamic accumulator.
So if I make that arrest, I know in my head that I'm acting as a collector of funds for the state. And I'm making the state more money by pushing him through a process that other people pay for.
Yeah,
that takes away his liberty.
That's got to be a really
So
expensive
things like,
pipeline.
and like things like traffic crimes.
Uh-huh.
If I pull you over and you don't have insurance, I think there's I've been off the street for about a year on deployment, but I think the cutoff is like 6 months to a year. So if you haven't had insurance for 6 months, I can write you a ticket for it. But
Okay.
if you haven't had it for more than 6 months, then it's like an automatic. Like it can be a misdemeanor arrest. I don't remember specifically. Don't quote me on this because I'm a little rusty on it and I don't give a shit about it. I just don't I don't do anything about it. But there's also something called with knowledge and without knowledge. How do you like that for a crime? So you don't have insurance. Did you know about that? No, I didn't. Okay, here's your ticket. You don't have insurance. Did you know about that? Yep, you're going to jail.
What?
How do you like that? So you punch me because you think I have a cute face. It's okay. You punch me because you don't like me. That's a different crime.
What?
Same victim, same action, different amount of punishment for you. So
That's
that
wild.
kills me too. So I go, am I a tax collector for the state? The next one is, do I have to make this arrest? Because if you're a suspect for murder, I think, yeah, I should probably make that arrest. But if I think, is this like a victimless crime? Do I have to make the arrest? No. There's a victim, but the victim doesn't even really care. Like if the three of us get in an all-out brawl over breakfast this morning, if it's consensual fighting amongst the three of us, and the cops show up and they say, sorry, we're going to have to take at least one of you to jail. You go, well, do you have to? Are we even pissed at each other? No, we don't care. It happens. It's life. I try not to fight because I don't like to touch people, but but if it happens, like, does the victim even care? Or does the victim, like, I don't even want the trouble of dealing with it. So I'll go, okay, do I have to make this arrest? So there's a couple questions like that that I make. And I guess it varies from case to case, and I would have to be on the street to kind of get in the zone. But am I a tax collector? Do I have to do this? Do I have other options? So can I write, if you really should be going to jail, can I write you a ticket instead? Like if you were...
Oh, like a... Okay.
Yeah, or if you're like a habitual offender for driving, and you're a really bad driver, and I could take you to jail on just regulation charges, where the state's the victim, could I instead get you a ride home, write you a ticket where you would have to appear in court later?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think that's a much better use of my time.
So you're not tied up maybe with paperwork and whatever.
Yeah.
But
But there's a flip side to it also, which is sometimes people have to fucking go to jail.
mm-hmm.
So when I'm dealing with a guy that's a multiple DUI offender, without a license, without insurance, in a car that he doesn't own, asleep in the intersection in the middle of the night, like not at the line, but like in the middle of the intersection, and he's got a beer bottle in his cup holder, it's got half full of beer, and I walk up to the car, and I'm nervous that if I wake him up, he's gonna pound on the gas and go kill somebody. That guy needs to go to jail. So if for some reason I can't arrest him for this or that or this or that, I'm gonna find something that I can.
Well, that's
Everybody's
that is
not
a literal
innocent.
threat.
Yeah, everybody's not innocent, and I know that in law enforcement you want to say we shouldn't arrest people. Some people need to go to fucking jail,
Right.
and I'm fine with that. You have honey or
Yeah,
jelly
yeah,
or anything? Sweet shit.
What? That makes me think of something. Do you have any? So we've heard in other like podcasts and whatnot, talking about interactions between law enforcement and the public. Do you have maybe 1, 2, 3 suggestions for interactions between the public and law enforcement, so there's a mutually beneficial outcome or a positive outcome, some sort of constructive outcome? Do you have any suggestions on that, or
That one's
save
not
that for
hard.
another time? Or?
So just to say how to make your interaction with the police better,
Yeah,
we could make that whole show.
we could.
But if I give you
couple
one
tips, or
one thing off the bat that a lot of people ask frequently is, if I have my gun and I get pulled over, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I know in the state of Florida, I think the wording is weird. Go figure. The lawyers and the your statists.
I make themselves useful.
They say, okay, you are required to present your concealed carry permit upon request to law enforcement during an interaction. So here's the thing. The way I understood that law, because it's not exactly very clear for me, and don't say the case study clears it up. I want to talk to the people that wrote it. That would be nice. If I request your concealed carry permit, you must show it to me.
Okay.
What if I don't request it? Do you have to show it to me?
What if you don't know?
And what if I don't know you have it? So they put the citizen in a bad spot, not me, the state. They make it not very clear that you have to show it. They kind of want to coerce you into thinking you're supposed to show it. But the way I read it was, must provide it to an officer upon request.
Here's what I do.
So
Because when I was driving all over the southeast, I had to stop at way stations.
Mhm.
So I was stopped frequently, and
at a way station, rather.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, even on the road, they'll stop you and do weight checks.
Who will the
Troopers, state troopers will.
They'll just pull you over?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Um,
oh my god. Good? Oh yeah.
So, when they would ask to see, all my information, my license and my CWP license would come out, and I'd give them both to them at the same time.
So you don't even mention, hey, I have a weapon on me or whatever. Just
Why? I just gave them the proof. Here, and they look at it. I mean, they're out together. Kind of.
Yeah, you can
like
both.
that.
Uh-huh.
So they see if there's two different licenses there automatically.
Mhm.
Every single time. Are you armed? Yeah.
After you've given them the
Yeah.
okay.
Are you currently armed? Yeah. Where is it at? And I tell them where it's at. Is it loaded? Yes. And the majority of the time when they ask if it's loaded and I say yes, they usually say good.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Most of us do, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Unless you're a criminal.
Right. But I mean,
So if you
at
run your
this
names and
point,
you have no
they
warrants,
haven't
right.
even run my name, so they don't know. But and a lot of times I have to get out of the vehicle and do stuff for them, not like open the hood or open the
Related
bag.
to the
regulated stuff.
Right, regulated stuff.
So the
And-
vehicle or the weapon, like they're asking you to get out because of vehicle weight stuff or because you got the weapon.
No, not because of the weapon.
Oh, okay,
Just
okay.
for regulation stuff.
I gotcha.
And they have no problems.
Huh.
And, I mean, you can even ask them, hey, would it be more comfortable if you secured this weapon? Like, you're the guy with the gun who's scared because you don't know me, and I'm scared because I don't know if you're a bad fucking cop or not. So whatever's going to make this transaction
Right.
less hairy.
Would you agree with that, Pat the Leo?
I would, and I have one really cool takeaway for both law enforcement and for citizens, is a lot of times cops will say, where's your gun? Or where's your gun at? Well, here's the problem with that.
You go to show 'em.
I go, here you go, right here.
Oh God.
Because I'm in the
That-
driver's seat in America, it's on the left side of the car, and he's
That's how
outside
you
the left
get
window.
shot.
And I, as a citizen, go, he asked where my gun is, let me grab it, and I hold it up in front of me, and I point it kind of to the leftish, which is out the window, which is where he is, and I get shot.
Yeah.
So,
my-
as
my
a
hands-
citizen, just here's a good reminder: keep your hands normal, slow on the wheel.
Yep.
Don't be terrified, but go. Okay, my gun is located in this place. What would you like me to do? That's it.
And my gun and my wallet are on the same side.
And you can tell them that
So
before you reach for it. Yeah.
Once they know I have a gun, or maybe even if they don't know I have a gun, I'm going to tell them, hey, my wallet is in this pocket.
Right.
This is where I'm reaching right now.
That's very easy. Yeah, it's very common.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an asshole about it.
No. And the problem with cops too is that they don't know that they should be phrasing that different. They just go, "Where's your gun? Where's your gun?"
Right.
So before
They say, "Hey, you got a
show
got a gun
them-
on you?"
Okay,
And
before
then
you
you
show
don't.
them your
And then
ID
people
or
that are
whatever.
nervous or assholes will start fidgeting and they'll turn and they'll reach for something. And you're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Okay, well, now
Right.
you're upset because they're reaching for something. But what did you tell them? You asked them where that thing is.
You ask them to reach for
So
something.
what I tell people all the time is I have to say very clearly, I say, hey, I'm Pat, I'm with this sheriff's office and I stopped you because of this. I go, you have your license, your registration, your insurance? I go, I only stopped you for the stop sign. And then I say, I don't write a lot of tickets, so I wouldn't worry about it. I said, but let me just make sure everything's okay. And most people go, oh, okay. So if I ask them, hey, do you have any weapons? Or if they hand me a concealed carry permit, or if I'm nervous, I'll say, hey, just by the way, without reaching for anything and without touching anything, can you tell me where your weapon is if you have one?
And that,
That's a great preference.
most conflicts arise because of miscommunication
Yeah.
or lack of communication. So if police officers were trained to communicate better and civilians were taught to communicate better,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen videos where cops are telling people to back up and get down on the ground at the same time. And then the guy inevitably gets
like,
his ass beat because he's not following orders, but they're like, back up, keep your hands up, get down on the ground, I said back up.
Yeah,
And they're like, and they turn around to talk to the guy like, what exactly, don't turn around. And you're just like, oh my God, what do you... I'm watching the video and
Yes.
I'm confused for the guy. And he
That's
might be a
terrible.
total shitbag. He may, deserve to be getting arrested or whatever, but
Still a confusing
Yeah.
interaction.
How do you like when two people are yelling at you at the same time?
two different things.
Which one?
Yeah.
So I love handling that. That stuff's easy for me, unseen.
I like
Hey,
that.
you, don't move. Keep your hands up. I need you to turn around slowly, face away from me. Now I need you to get down on your knees. My partner's going to come handcuff you. Don't move. That's easy.
Right.
Or like you go into a house and someone does something crazy and you go, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. And then they get there and you go, turn around, back up, put your hands on the wall. That's easy. Instead of, get down, up. Because it's usually the most common phrase is, hey, get down.
Right.
And then, okay, well now you're in a hallway, in a trailer, with filth all around, and there's a threat far away.
Right.
But there's some idiot between you two, and you say get down, and now you can't get to the threat, and you might not be able to back up, so you screw yourself. And it's a lack of training. It really is.
Yeah.
And that's
And it's fear.
yeah, it's fear. It's a lack of training, lack of experience, and it's a lack of leadership. And you're being let down by your department or your agency. And that training is free. You say, hey, let's get 3 of us in a room, and you just tell us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get down, get down, get down. Okay, why? What? Oh,
Why are
how
you
about
telling
this?
them to get down?
Back up, back up. Or how about don't move, don't move. Okay, now I need you to move, but do this. That's easy.
Right.
Or if 2 people start yelling, just go, hey, I got this.
Right.
You, listen to me. That's it's so easy, so easy. So if you're yelling and I'm yelling, I touch you, or I look at you, or I say your name, I say, hey, you, I've got this. I say, Ox, listen to me. Now I've changed, now the whole tone goes from this to this.
Right.
It's a big crazy cloud of bullshit, and then it kind of boils down to,
Right.
okay, it's a situation we can handle. We're in the box now. And that shit's fucking free, and no one does it. Hardly anyone does it.
You know, we do that fire and rescue and EMS.
Yeah.
So we'll get on a mass, like a really fucked up scene, and everyone will be barking orders, and tensions are kind of high. We got a million things going on, plus people dying in front of us, and yeah, you just kind of gotta either back down or stand up.
So that was one good suggestion. Do you have any more? Sort of maximizing an interaction?
Yeah, don't do
make
stupid
up.
things with stupid people and stupid places at stupid times.
Yeah.
Interactions with regular, I hate the word law-abiding because laws are kind of bullshit, but a regular law-abiding citizen,
Mm-hmm.
really rare that we come across you and we make your life miserable. It's not what you see on the news. I see hundreds and thousands of people at least thousands of people every day on shift, and I don't deal with almost any of them at all. So it's unlikely that I'm going to target you and ruin your day because I'm in a bad mood. But I'm also not an asshole. So,
That's debatable.
Get that money, get that money, get that money.
get that money.
Get the money.
Get that money.
Every time we wrap it up with a thought,
We keep going.
We
keep
do.
going
We
for
do
another
keep
20
going.
minutes.
So the end. How about the end?
For now, yeah.
Episode 4 in the bank.
What do we say?
Pick that guy up.
Pick
Pick
that
that
guy
guy up.
up. Get that money.
Get that money.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
Yep.